Well, I am thrilled to have with us tonight one of our favorite regulars, the greatest G&T since the gin and tonic, Managing Director of G&T Communications, Gemma Tognini. Gemma,
Hello,
thank you
friend.
so much. Thank you so much.
Buon anno.
Buon anno. Great to see you. Buongiorno. All of that stuff.
Buonasera.
It's buonasera. Yes. We'll do Duolingo after the show. But anyway,
Excellent.
First of all, now I want to talk to you about this here. It's a beautiful day in Sydney. We've gotten rid of 2 years of La Nina and rain and COVID restrictions. And let's talk about something that I think is absolutely un-Australian. People were forking out as much as $600 or more per person to watch the fireworks from the Sydney Harbour foreshore this year. Well, hang on. But you say that it's not just the fireworks, that in fact, actually, if you want to, get out and about, this sort of thing, this sort of gouging is an everyday occurrence. Now, you've just moved here from Perth and have some views on the way we do things on the East Coast. What's it like here in Sydney, and what don't you like about it?
May I just preface this by saying I love Sydney and it's been very good to me. But can I say that when it comes to beaches and beach access, James, West is best. West is best. I went to a beach on the northern...
These are fighting words, people. Send you Gemma Tognini. Anyway.
I went to the beach today. To my shock, I had to pay $10 an hour to park at the beach. Who pays $10 an hour to park at the beach? Queenscliff Beach, by the way. And that was after driving around freshwater for half an hour, not able to get a car park. So I just went, that's fine. I'm going to mosey on back down the coast. Went to Queenscliff, got myself a car park, responsibly reversed in because it was a busy street. And then, bless him, a lovely young chap who is the parking inspector. I didn't know how to decipher the signs. They can be a little bit much for a newbie. And he explained to me that if I reverse parked as I had, I would cop a $120 fine. So not only do you get savaged by councils who are so busy trying to social... Let me tell you, if you're wanting to be a local government person, and who would, but if you want to be a local government person and you want a solid platform to run on, take budget away from the social engineering garbage that councils are not designed to do. Put it back into parking and infrastructure and give beachgoers free parking. It's a dead set winner.
There you go. You heard it here first. Now, I hope whatever council was responsible for this is taking that $10 an hour from all the beachgoers and saving it up for a huge Australia Day celebration and not doing what my local council, Inner West, does and writes letters to Joe Biden about Julian Assange. Now,
wow.
Yeah.
Your rates at work.
My rates at work. But can we just move on to another rather daffy idea? At least I think it was daffy.
Sure.
Reported in the Australian today that there are Australian businesses, many big corporates, that are thinking about moving to a 4-day work week. Now, you're a business owner. Are your people clamoring for a 4-day week, and will you give it to them?
No one has even mentioned it, and no, I wouldn't. I mean, no one's even mentioned it or even flagged it or even said, hey, did you read? I mean, it is just, look, to each their own, and I think it might be a fad that turns around and bites people on the backside. If you have productivity, and let me just say this, my business is 20 years old and we have been flexibly working long before a pandemic forced people into it. Like, I know when the pandemic hit, I know of very mature, very large businesses that were scrambling to give their people the capacity to work flexibly. We've been working flexibly for a decade. So for us, it was just a shift. I don't see this going anywhere personally.
Yeah, and I mean, don't you think that this would be the sort of thing where, there's some people who can do their work at home on laptops and others who have to be frontline workers? Wouldn't this exacerbate all these sort of divisions?
Of course. And also when you think about humans are designed for connectivity, it is our DNA, and there are a myriad psychological studies that will show you that our best creativity and our best results come from being with our colleagues in the same room.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, I love going into the newsroom every day. But what I want to say, though, speaking of that sort of, issue of, wellness and everything like that, there's a more serious topic also to do with that. And that's the story that's been floating around for a little while, but we haven't had a chance to really dive into it here on Inside the News. The government is cutting, or they did from the 1st of January, the number of Medicare-funded psychology sessions from 20 to 10. Experts are saying this is a terrible idea, and the penny pinching will only lead to terrible outcomes and suffering. Gemma, the government is being pretty cold-hearted here, aren't they?
I think it's a disgusting move, and I think that they announced it, or when they announced it, to cover it up. I think this is a government that is going to be held accountable for this. If you've had any access or any interaction with this program, you know how important it is. You know that it actually delivers outcomes. I think it is genuinely a disgusting, mean-spirited, awful, awful move by this government. They should be ashamed of themselves.
And what do you think the reaction would have been had it been a coalition
Well, we
government?
know what the answer to that is. I mean, the pearls that have been clutched, it would have been all kinds of, you're an awful person. We know there is a mental health crisis in this country. So what does the Albanese government do? Oh, we're just going to strip millions of dollars from the area that Australians need it most.
Indeed. Well said. Maybe somebody in Canberra is listening to that. Thank you so much, Gemma Tognini, for your insights, and especially on what's happening at our beaches. Thank you so much.
Beach correspondent Tognini.
Beach correspondent Gemma Tognini, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.